All right, folks, we want to say a pleasant good evening from Monrovia and welcome to Focus on Liberia Live Online Television. My name is Theo Williams. Today is Tuesday. Today is May 31, 2022. And of course, we want to welcome you from just wherever you are joining us this wonderful evening in Monrovia. And so welcome to this exclusive interview with Mrs. Niswa B. and Livingstone, founder and executive director of Rescue for Abandoned Children in Hardships, or REACH. Madam Livingstone, I want to say welcome to Focus on Liberia Online Television.
Thank you, Theo. It's a pleasure.
By the way, how are you today?
I'm missing physically well, but emotionally, I'm not too well. Like, just before this interview, I told you I had to rush a 12-year-old girl who was raped last week by her stepdad, who is 55 years old. And today, I have to rush her back to the hospital because she was severely bleeding. And what I witnessed just emotionally upset me, but that's okay, we're moving on.
Well, never mind about that, and so bad to hear that.
Thank you.
But let's get the ball rolling. I'd like you to give us a brief history of how your organization came into existence.
My organization came into existence as a result of looking back and counting all my blessings and knowing that I grew up in an underprivileged home, and I was one of many Liberian kids who did not have a full square meal. I grew up in this country where my mother was the one knocking at doors, asking people to help her pay our school fees. I grew up in this country selling around to help our mother to just to make ends meet. And so it's almost 10 years ago when I gave it a hard thought and said, look at where God has taken me from. Look at what God has done in my life. So I felt the urge and the need to give back to children who are walking in same shoes or even worse shoes.
Great. Let's know from you what motivated you to start this very tedious work.
Well, what motivated me is that, like I said, I grew up not having all of the best. I grew up not having the 3 meals a day. I grew up not having the best of clothes. But what motivated me is that people were there to help my mother, to support us.
Okay.
And so those giving hands helped Mama to make us to be who we are today, to make us to be people that when we look back, you can't even know that we were children that grew up in underprivileged homes. So what motivated me is that if people could help my mother to bring me to this stage, I too think that if I, along with others who are helping me, can help those children selling on the street, can help those children who are being abused, can help those children who are serving as breadwinners for their families, if we all can help them. We may not be able to save all of them, we may not be able to help all of them, but the ones that we can help, we can rest assured that they too can have a happy ending like me here.
Okay. For how long have your organization been in existence?
Since 2013.
2013, wow. All right, how many children do you have now, and how does it feel working with these underprivileged children?
Okay, the program stands on different pillars.
Okay. We
have the Saturday feeding station.
All right.
And that is a program that feeds over 300 kids in the Lower Johnsonville, Nickley Town community. Right. I used to live in that community, and Theo, I tell you, I'm a lover of children. I love children.
Okay.
And so every evening when I come from work, I will have kids visiting me, and together we'll eat whatever is available. And so it started with one kid coming to say, hi, Mama. I said, let's eat. And then it started with 5. That one kid bringing 2. Those 2 bringing 3. And so today, the Saturday feeding station feeds over 300 kids on every Saturday. Then we also have the medical too. You won't believe it, but it's real. There are parents or guardians that are shielding kids in their homes because they cannot afford medical bills, and these children are dying. I just came from Kakata last month with a boy whose flesh, his skin was falling off his foot, and the bone came outside, and the grandmother could not afford the bills. She took that boy to a herbalist, and someone sent me the photos. I have to go and bring him, and today Sam is walking, though he has a second surgery, but we got there right on time. The doctors at JFK were able to save his life. So the medical, we pick up kids who are sick in homes or in sick bushes, and their parents cannot afford. We paid the medical bills by sending our SOS appeals, or even kids who are in hospitals that their parents took there but they can't afford the bills. We get the information and we help to foot those bills. And we also send some kids out of this country depending on the medical conditions and depending on the responsiveness of people as it relates to our request. We also have the scholarship. Yes, the scholarship. We have over 100, almost close to 200 children for over since 2013, and 53 of that number have walked out of high school. And we got some who, because the scholarship runs in a way that each child has a sponsor. Some of these sponsors have taken these kids as low as ABC. Some of them from elementary to college. And so depending on the financial strength of the sponsor, some sponsors will say, Mr. Livingston, I'm taking my child through college. And some will say, Mr. Livingston, it's tough. I'm only stopping at high school level. So, but overall, the scholarship is doing well. And we just hope that we can get more people on board to just help our child get back in school.
Mrs. Livingston, let's know from you, what is your goal for every child you touched?
My goal for every child that I touch is that child going to lift this country up. My goal for every child that I touch is that child going to break the chain of poverty over his or her family. My goal for every child that I touch is to see that child being released from obstacles or from setbacks that were holding that child down. My goal is to see a child living a happy life.
Great. Well, folks, all of you who are just joining us, we want to say welcome. This is Focus on Liberia Live online television, and we in an exclusive interview with Mrs. Niswa B. Livingston. She's the founder and executive director of Rescue for Abandoned Children in Hardships, or REACH for short. And of course, we're talking a wide range of issues. She's engaged with too many works with the children, abandoned children. And so as you watch, just share the video so that others can have the opportunity, to follow the conversation this wonderful Tuesday in Monrovia. Well, Mr. Livingston, back to you. The kind of work you do is cost intensive. Before that, let me ask you, what kind of feedback do you get from parents or guardians?
The feedback is just one that will make my day. The feedback is just one that will keep me smiling. To have these parents coming back and to just say thank you. And to just say God bless you. What is comparable to that? For someone to say God bless you, it may just be a statement, but those are statements that come to pass. So the feedbacks I do receive from parents, they are so much something that pushes me more into being a blessing to children. A woman who was not able to send her child to school, and the child sat down for 2 academic years in 5th grade, and I'm telling you, the child is coming out of Cottington, majoring in biology and chemistry, and graduating with high honor. Just 2 weeks ago, this child was accepted into the highest academic honor at Cottington University, and we took him from 5th grade to Cottington.
Wow.
Yeah. And this child has broken poverty. Right now, he attends Cottington. He's a teacher assistant, and he runs a tutorial for chemistry.
Wow. Great. Let me bring you back to this question, Mrs. Livingston. The work you do is cost intensive, and I know this is important. Where do you get funding?
Well, I got funding from individuals. Majority of our support, huge portion of our support comes from individuals. Except for few organizations, most of what we do is funded by individuals, and sometimes individuals who have walked the pathway of difficult life. Individuals who know the pain of being dropped out of school or doing test time, and so our work is hugely, on a larger portion supported by individuals with very few institutions helping us.
Let's talk about collaboration. Are you currently collaborating with institutions or organizations with the same vision?
Yes, we do.
How many of them?
We collaborate with over 6, 7, 10 organizations located in Liberia, and one of them is the one run and headed by Brenda Moore.
All right.
The Kids Educational Engagement Program. We collaborate with another organization headed by Mompilo. We got Naomi Sonenki, Fasia Harris, and we all have a beautiful collaboration. We do it together. We meet and hang heads, and then we usually just call each other and say, hey, how do I do this? What are the steps? And we advise each other. Our number one priority is not us shining another institution, but to just make sure that our beneficiaries remain our target.
Great. Are you currently, or are there plans to decentralize the activities?
Yes, there are plans on the way to decentralize the activities, but it's not a plan to hastily start. Because, like I said, when it comes to children, you have to be careful. You cannot, you cannot take a child from the frying pan to then you get the child into the fire itself. It would have been better not to help that child at all. So we have that mindset of decentralizing our activities, but we don't want to go about doing that hastily, just in case we get strangulated. The help becomes more dramatic, that child that we can no longer afford to help in the rural area, that child becomes like, why did you come in my life? So I hate disappointments. So we're thinking about that, we're studying it, and as God opens bigger doors, we will take those giant steps.
Mrs. Livingstone, what is your message to all people of goodwill and all well-meaning Liberians?
Well, my message to all people of goodwill, my fellow Liberians, in and out of our country. I know sometimes when we consider all of the economic constraints and what is happening in the world, I know sometimes we tend to become me and my family, but we just have to sit and think that in whatever way, no man is an island. And if people helped us, whether it was with our career, whether it was at one point that we needed something and somebody showed up for us, we ought to show up for those who cannot afford. We ought to be there. We cannot speak of a better Liberia when we push the children aside. You cannot call these children future leaders when you are not preparing them for the future. You cannot have an enabling environment. You can't even have a safe environment when half of your population in terms of children are not in school. If these children become wayward, even our kids who we are doing everything for, so that they will come up very productive in our Liberian society, they may not even have a peaceful nation.
At what point are you satisfied to let go of any of the children and believe that such a child will be okay? At what point?
That point is a point of me seeing a child getting a first degree. I feel fulfilled. I feel that child is we have marketed that child enough and know that child is able to face the challenges, is able to, that child is able to face the real world, and with good decisions, with a sense of maturity.
If there is one help you will need now for this work to reach as many needed children as possible, what will be that one?
That one help now is for us to get each person saying to Mr. Davidson, give me a child to send to school. Till my mother told me there are two important factors that shape our lives, and that is God and education. So I know we have the feeding program, we have the medical, but look, if we can educate as many young people, as many kids that whose parents cannot afford, till every day there's a knock here at my home. Okay. For a child that is out of high school, for a child that is dropped out of school, every day. You don't have to even walk an hour to know that the number of children that need help, the odd number those whose parents can afford. So if we just prioritize education on our program with people helping us, that could be excellent.
Great.
That could be the way forward.
Somebody watching or those watching could want to chip in, to the kind of work you do. So how is that possible? How is it possible to get in contact with you?
Well, I'm on social media. My organization is on social media. The name is Neswa Bien Livingstone, and we have an account, US dollars and Liberian dollars. The Liberia Bank for Development and Investment, our own Liberian bank, and we also have our send wave numbers, and we have points of contact in the United States that over time and have sent, I don't know whatever means they use there, but usually when you send money to them, whether it's cash up, they usually send it back to us. So we want to be thankful to Daddy Howard, who has been very helpful in helping us to get money sent to her.
You want to read out those numbers, perhaps?
Except with someone, if I watch the video, then I will want to inbox those numbers.
Oh, okay, that would be great. Well, we about wrapping up now. Any final message as we conclude this exclusive interview?
My final message is just short. It's about looking back and let's be your help. Let us avoid the condemnation of why should a mother born a child that she knows she was not ready. Let us leave all of those excuses and see the innocence of the kids and be moved to help them. And the Bible says when you do it for the least of these, you have done it for God. I know the Quran too may have another beautiful interpretation. So let us leave the condemnation, the unnecessary criticisms, and let us see the innocence of our kids and be a blessing to them.
Well, thank you very kindly. She's Mrs. Neswa Bien Livingstone, founder and executive director of Rescue for Abandoned Children in Hardships, or REACH for short. Well, it's been a wonderful time interacting with you, and I hope we can do this as many times as possible. Thank you very kindly.
I'm just a phone away. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, folks, all of you who've been there, thanks for being there. Thanks for keeping on. And we hope that you share the video. We hope you can also chip in, to contribute to the work of Madam Livingstone. Something she will appreciate, I'm sure. But thank you very kindly. Well, for and on behalf of the team, our CEO in the U.S., Mr. Dennis Jar, who is in Atlanta, Georgia, head of operations, Anthony Sear, who is also in the U.S. as well, Minnesota specifically. My name is Tia Williams. Thanking you ever so much. Do have yourselves a wonderful time as you continue to follow Focus on Liberia online television. We'll always go for those interesting developments, not only about politics. We cut across, we cover all of those major things, human interest and the rest of it. So always watch out for Focus on Liberia as we bring the information just closer to you. Until I talk to you again, it's going to be from another venue. Perhaps, who knows? Good day, enjoy the rest of the time.